You're probably quite familiar with milk and dairy products, aren't you? When it comes to milk, the first thing that often comes to mind is cow's milk. It is the most common type of milk worldwide. However, today we will dive into the world of milk that is valued 10 times more than cow's milk. Yes, you heard right. We are talking about camel milk, a premium product that many of you may not have tried yet. Join us, and we will travel to the vast expanses of Australia, where camel farms are spread across the arid desert. We will learn how farmers manage to collect millions of liters of camel milk, as well as get acquainted with modern milk processing technologies at factories and the process of creating luxurious cheese blocks. Let's get started. Camels are iconic desert animals, often referred to as the white gold of the desert. Camel milk is highly valued and costs 10 times more than cow's milk. This is because female camels only start producing milk after approximately 13 months of gestation and yield only about 5 liters per day, compared to 30 liters from a cow. The harsh conditions of desert animal husbandry also mean that milk preservation requires particular care. Camels originated in North America around 40 to 45 million years ago. However, they later migrated to Asia and Africa, where they adapted well to arid desert regions. Initially, they were primarily bred for desert transportation, but the recognition of their economic value led to the development of large camel farms. These farms contribute to the production of high-quality camel products. The process of camel breeding begins with farmers importing the initial animals. In a typical herd, there is one male for every 9 females, as only the females produce milk. Male camels play a role in reproduction. However, camel mating can be quite complex. Females typically only ovulate when stimulated by the male during mating, and this process often requires human intervention to improve reproductive efficiency. The gestation period for camels is quite long compared to other livestock, lasting approximately 13 months. Most female camels give birth to only one calf at a time. The birthing process for camels can be incredibly challenging, and without timely intervention, the calf may suffocate in the mother's womb. Newborn calves are relatively robust and can stand and move within the first few hours of birth. A newborn calf typically weighs between 30 and 40 kilograms. Calves need to consume their mother's milk for the first 6 to 12 months for proper development. Additionally, farmers may supplement their feeding with milk to help the calves grow stronger. Calves learn survival skills from the herd, especially through their bond with their mother. They follow their mother in all activities, from foraging for food to drinking water, and learn to cope with the harsh environmental conditions. Sometimes, farmers train young camels in basic skills such as following the herd, navigating the desert, or becoming accustomed to enclosures. After 1 year, calves are weaned from their mother's milk. The primary diet of an adult camel consists of dry grass, leaves, or fermented feed. Herders typically feed them once or twice a day. Because camels store energy well, they do not need to eat very frequently. Feed is usually placed in troughs or spacious open areas to make it easily accessible to the camels. Feedings are often scheduled for early morning or late evening to avoid the heat of the day, as camels can eat more comfortably and expend less energy due to the lower temperatures at these times. Camels are renowned for their ability to withstand thirst and their unique drinking habits. They can go without water for 5 to 7 days. An adult camel can drink up to 200 liters of water in just 10 minutes. Female camels typically begin to produce milk at the age of 3 to 4 years after the birth of their first calf. Like many other mammals, female camels produce milk only after giving birth. A mother camel can continue to produce milk for approximately 1 year after giving birth. The process of milking camels is very similar to milking cows and can be done either manually or mechanically. Camels are typically milked twice a day, with an average yield of about 5 to 6 liters of milk per day. For manual milking, the farmer gently squeezes each part of the udder in a rhythmic manner, allowing the milk to flow out evenly. The milk is collected in a clean pail or container. Manual milking can be time-consuming and requires experienced milkers. This traditional method is often used when the number of camels is small. Machine milking is becoming increasingly common on larger farms. Before milking, the camel is secured in a milking parlor, and the udder is thoroughly cleaned. The vacuum tubes of a milking machine are attached to the female camel's udder. The machine then begins to apply gentle pressure to extract milk from the udder without causing the camel any discomfort. Camels are often fed during milking to keep them calm and undisturbed. The milking machine operates in a cycle that mimics the natural suckling of a calf, ensuring a steady flow of milk. The milk then passes through a filtration system, is pumped into large storage containers, and is immediately chilled to preserve its quality. After milking, the camels are returned to the farm along designated lines. It is important for farmers to thoroughly clean the machine after milking to ensure hygiene for future use. Camel machine milking systems require very substantial investments, which is why only large farms can afford them. This is why smaller farms still employ the manual milking method. After milking, camel milk may contain impurities from the environment or the camel's udder. To remove these contaminants, the milk is filtered through special layers. It undergoes preliminary checks to ensure there are no abnormalities in color, smell, or taste. Pasteurization is a crucial step for eliminating harmful bacteria and extending the milk's shelf life. The milk is heated to approximately 66 degrees Celsius for 15 to 20 seconds and then rapidly cooled to below 4 degrees Celsius. After pasteurization, it needs to be stored in a cold environment to prevent bacterial growth. In factories, the milk is typically stored in large refrigerated tanks or bottled for transportation. Finally, camel milk is packaged into sterilized bottles or cartons, which are then labeled with the source and production date. The packaged milk can be stored in a refrigerator or freezer, depending on the desired shelf life. Pasteurized camel milk can last for 2 to 3 weeks when refrigerated. It has a slightly sweet, creamy flavor without being overly rich, and possesses a distinct, light salty note that makes it refreshing and easy to drink. Camel milk is particularly nutritious. It contains easily digestible proteins, 3 times more vitamin C than cow's milk, and calcium and iron that strengthen bones and support the immune system. It also contains a natural form of insulin, beneficial for individuals with diabetes. In addition to milk production, camels are also used for meat. Male camels are typically selected for this purpose. They are transported from the farm to the slaughterhouse, where their necks are secured with a clamping device to ensure the maximum humanity of the process. Workers then kill the camel, skin it, remove its organs, and butcher the meat into various cuts. Camel meat prices in the United States range from approximately $20 to $30 per pound. In Dubai, camel meat is generally only affordable for the wealthy elite at celebratory banquets. The camel is often served whole, and guests partake directly at the dining table. Beyond direct consumption, camel milk is also used to produce high-quality cheese, priced between $50 and $200 per pound. To make camel milk cheese, the process begins with filtering the milk to remove any impurities, and then it is heated to about 32 degrees Celsius. At this stage, probiotics and rennet are added to coagulate the milk into a pudding-like consistency. Once the milk thickens into a solid mass, it is cut into small pieces, usually small cubes, to separate the liquid whey from the solid curd. The solid part of the milk is then extracted and placed into molds to press out any remaining whey. Pressing the cheese helps to solidify the product. Camel milk cheese typically has a mild, slightly salty flavor and a smoother, more delicate texture compared to cow's milk cheese. Besides camel milk, cow's milk is one of the most common types of milk in daily life. Let's see how cow's milk is produced on large dairy farms. Modern milking systems are used there. Cows are led onto a rotating platform, and each cow stands in its own stall. As a cow steps onto the platform, the system automatically identifies each cow using electronic devices. Before milking begins, the cow's udders are cleaned and disinfected. After the udders are cleaned, automatic milking cups are attached. The milk is transported through pipes and directly into a storage tank. Once milking is complete, the cups are automatically detached. As soon as milking is finished, the cows are automatically removed from the platform to exit. Each cow can produce up to 10 liters of milk per milking. Because cows produce so much milk and are far more common than camels, many modern farms utilize high technology for milking cows. Once the milk is collected, it can be transported to a factory for cheese production. In principle, making cheese from cow's milk is very similar to making cheese from camel milk, but it is much more engaging. Today, we will explore the process of making the world-renowned Parmesan cheese. Cow's milk is delivered to the factory twice a day. There, it is poured into large vats that are heated to approximately 21 degrees Celsius for pasteurization and enzyme activation. Then, natural rennet is added to coagulate the milk. During heating, an automatic stirring device helps the milk dissolve evenly and prevents lumps from forming. After heating, the mixture is cooled and solidifies into a gelatinous, pudding-like substance. The cheesemaker uses a special cutting tool to break it down into small grains. Next, the cheesemaker transfers the cheese into a draining bag to remove water, increasing the surface area for whey to escape, which helps achieve even moisture in the cheese. The cheese is then placed into molds and hung to drain and form. After this, it is submerged in a brine solution for up to 20 days to remove all moisture. Following salting, the cheese is sorted by production date and moved to a curing area to mature for at least 12 months. Once aging is complete, the cheese is inspected by tapping it with a hammer. Finally, it is cut into smaller pieces and automatically packaged according to different needs. This process requires not only meticulous technical precision, but also the patience and passion of cheesemakers to ensure every piece of Parmesan delivers a rich flavor and the highest quality. Thus, from the video, you have clearly understood the process of obtaining camel milk and making world-famous cheese. Breeding camels for milk and cheese production is a unique and economically valuable process. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video. You should now have a good understanding of how camel milk is obtained, processed, and turned into cheese. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. And stay tuned for more information.